Hello everyone, welcome back to our next session in Core Python playlist. So as of now we have seen about print function, also we have seen about basic data types, and we also have seen a small program as of now. So you can see here is the playlist, the programs that I have done as of now. So I'm again creating a Python 3, and in today's session what we'll be doing is we will be saying the input function. I'll be telling you about the input function, how important it is for us, and how it works. So in previous session, while declaring data types, variables with different data types like a equals to 5 or b equals to 5.5, where we have declared integer and fraction value. So those values were hard coded values, right? So you were giving the value to it directly, but majority of the time we don't take values. Now we do take some time, but majority of the time we have to take input from the user, right? So in that case you can't hard code the value. You need to ask user for the input, and then you will be taking the input. Is that clear? So uh, for that we use something called as input method. All right, so for example, I want to take a number from the user. I will write like this: a equals to, and I will simply call input method. So if we see, once this cell is executed, it is expecting some number, and when I'm giving the number, you can see it has taken 5 as input and it has put that into a. If you just check, now there are a lot of concepts coming up. I'll show you one by one. So if you print a, it is giving you the value 5. If you see it carefully, 5 is not an integer value, it is string value. Let me just cross verify it for you. So you can see when I'm saying type of a, is saying it to be str. Simply means the input method takes string by default as input. No matter what you give, it will be giving you the value. Let me just rerun it again. So now when I run it again, a equals to input, and you see we have not given any input right now. Input in the sense, this thing just pop up, and it's just not telling you to do anything, right? So like for example, you're going to Facebook website, or Flipkart, any of the website, and it asks you for the input, right? It asks you, okay, here in this checkbox, into this input box, put up your username. So clearly username is written there. So from there you understood, okay, then the next thing that I have to do is, here I have to click for and enter the username basically. Similarly, here we are not able to understand, or the end user won't be in a position to understand what you need to do, right? So for that reason we need to give a message clearly. So what you can do is, you can use a print method here, print function, called print function, say enter a number, or the good thing for us is input method also takes directly the string, and that will be getting printed. So enter a number, for example, if I'm saying, so this message will be displayed here, enter a number, and it's asking for the number now. So for example, if I'm saying 5, so 5 will be entered. Is that clear? So that message is clearly given. Now if you see, still the type of a, if I'm printing, it is str, still it's str, right? So let's just change it to something like, for example, if I'm saying, let's just convert it to int. All right, so if you see this, now what I'm doing is, here is the concept. Now this concept is called as typecasting. Typecasting simply means converting from one data type to other data type. Okay, so let me just remove this and show you with simple example. Right now it's string, so 5, again I'm just writing here. So can you see this type of a is string? So now see it carefully. What I'm writing is b equals to int of a. All right, so what I'm telling is, whatever is there into a, convert that into integer and store it into b now. So if you see, if you print b, you can see it's normal 5 now, seems to be a string, normal integer value. Let's just cross verify, and you can check, now it's an integer value. Understood? So we've converted, we have typecasted from string to your integer value. Now one important thing here is, remember, when you're typecasting, the number whatever you have as a string should be typecastable. Now what I mean to say is, you can store anything in a string, right? Like for example, if I'm writing my name, Amir, okay, so you can see type of a, of course it's string, and if you print the value of a, it's Amir. But tell me now, can Amir be converted into string integer value? Of course not, right? So let's just try to do this, and of course you will get an error clearly telling you invalid literal for int with base 10. So it is clearly telling you that Amir cannot be converted to integer value. Is that clear? So it has to be typecastable, and of course the message is clear. So it is expected that a person will be entering one integer value only. Okay, so now you can see the b is converted and it is integer now. Now important thing here is, do you think that we'll be going with this two-step procedure always, here declaring a variable a first and then declaring b and typecasting a into it? Of course no. See, what we can do is simply, of course this input method will be returning the string value, right? Put this whole string input method inside the typecast function, that is int. So here what will happen is, inner function will get called, BODMAS is followed. So into mathematics, BODMAS, right? So the inner function will get called first here, and enter a number will be getting displayed. A person will be entering 45, for example. So that will come as a string, and that will be converted into integer, and then it will be stored into a. I told you, right hand side will get evaluated completely, and then whatever value you have, that will be stored into left hand side. All right, so you can see, like for example, I'm giving 50. Okay, so now if you see type of a, it won't be string, it will be integer value. Of course, if you print the value of a as well, it will be 50. So this is what we do always. If you want to take a string as an input, don't worry about this part. You will be just writing input directly. Okay, but yeah, of course, if you want to take a fraction value or integer value, you need to specify the clearly. You have to specify about the typecasting. Okay, let's just declare fraction value as well. Like for example, if I'm taking c or r, in the last example we have taken the area of we have calculated the area of circle by uh, taking the radius, right? So let's say radius we are taking from the user now. So what you can do is, we can simply write let's it's a float value, right? So I will convert it into float. So here inside this we'll write input, enter the radius. All right, so let me just run it for you. So now it's expecting, can you see this, the message that you have given, it is printed first, and then the box is given to you for entering the number. So if for example, if I'm entering 5.7, now 5.7 will go into r, and you can just cross check the value of r to be 5.7, and if you cross check the type of r, it will clearly mention that it's a float value. Is that clear? So that is about input method, and of course you got the r. Now you can perform any functionality to it, right? Let me just go with 3.14 into r, for example. So you can see it is calculating it to be 102.0186. So r, it has taken from the this line. The r is declared, but we have not taken it. We have taken it from the user. It can change, of course. Now for example, if I'm changing it to 10.9, and now if you see 3.14 into r will give you 373.06 by taking the radius value as 10.9. Is that clear? So this is how you will be taking. The important thing that you need to understand here is, of course, input method and the message that you want to give before taking the input, and then whether you want to typecast from string to some other value, and you have to be careful with this. It has to be typecastable. Is that clear? So that's it for this session. I hope you understood, and of course don't forget to change the name. So we just learn input method or input function. So just write input function. Okay, better have a better naming convention for you guys to understand later on. And of course you can see it here, we got the input function as one of the input here. Okay, one of the IPYNB file. So that's it for this session. In the next lecture we'll see few basic example, and I will also introduce you to something called a Schoolab, that a tool that is given by the Google for us, just similar to Jupyter. We'll explore that as well. Thank you for the session. We'll meet in next.